Your iPad Pro replace the MacBook Pro. So we're going to talk about, can the iPad Pro replace a MacBook Pro here live on camera? If you're just joining the stream, be sure to tune in and chat with us about if you think this is replaceable with this, the iPad Pro 10.5. So I'm going to begin this live stream by talking about hardware. So the iPad Pro, can it replace a MacBook Pro is the question. Well, the MacBook Pro, especially the older one here, this is the 2015 edition. This is my current MacBook, and I'm sorry about the focusing. Live streaming only is available right now on phones. So this is the Galaxy Note 5 I'm recording this video on, so it might go in and out of focus, so I apologize about that. But you can see all the ports here available, legacy ports here on the 2015 edition MacBook Pro. Here you got Thunderbolts right here, you got USB, MagSafe. The newer ones do have USB-C, so they're kind of similar to the iPad in the fact that they don't charge incredibly, or they don't have you need adapters. So you need adapters just like you need on the iPad, you know, the 2016 edition, just like you need on an iPad. So you have the Lightning port here, and this is going to have adapters. So you are going to have adapters for things like, you know, USB or Lightning to SD card reader. Everybody who's just now joining in the stream, let me know you're in the stream by leaving some comments and stuff like that. And yeah, like I say, you will have an adapter here for the iPad Pro that can go to an SD card reader, so iMovie will work just fine. Now, the iPad, we should talk about the hardware. So in terms of hardware, you are going to get, you know, on the MacBook Pro, we are going to get definitely an aluminum body. I do have a spec case on it right here. So the spec case definitely is pretty solid here for the MacBook Pro, but it's definitely all aluminum here. All aluminum here on the MacBook Pro, whereas on the iPad Pro, it's also all aluminum, but it definitely feels like a chunk of aluminum here on the MacBook Pro in comparison to this MacBook right here, or this iPad right here. They just said MacBook. Everybody who's in the stream, comment your thoughts. Start commenting your thoughts. I'm not seeing any comments. I'm not sure if it's working on my end, but please let me know if you're in the stream. Just say something in the comments. I'm not sure if they're enabled right now. Let me go ahead and check my settings real quick. And looks like live chat messages are enabled. So yeah, right here on the iPad Pro, in terms of hardware, we're looking at both aluminum bodies here. The MacBook Pro is a more solid chunk of aluminum, as I mentioned already. When you buy a MacBook Pro, you're getting a very solid piece of aluminum here. You get the Force Click touchpad right here, which is definitely very similar to the iPhone 7 Plus with its Force Touch fingerprint scanner right here. Now guys, let me tell you something. The iPad Pro is the more portable powerhouse, but the reason that it's really hard to say, can this go ahead and replace this Mac over here, is due to the fact that, you know, this guy right here runs iOS. So iOS is essentially the same thing as we're going to find here on an iPhone SE, for example, and iOS runs flawlessly. You have a lot of programs here. You can download something like Infinity Photo here on the iPad, but trying to replace the MacBook with this becomes a stretch. But I do think it might be possible, and here's why. So you have this pointer device right here, so you have to buy the Apple Pencil separate, and this makes the Mac experience a little bit better because it already comes with a keyboard, it already comes with the Force Touch trackpad right here. Now with the Apple Pencil, you know, this can serve as kind of like your little pointer device. So let me go ahead and connect it to Bluetooth here. You just hit Bluetooth, you stick this thing in here. I don't know who designed this. It's probably not the smartest design ever here to go ahead and put the Apple Pencil in here, but you just put that in there like so. I'm a little bit reckless, so if I break the Apple Pencil live on camera, that's cool. So let me pull it out right here, and it should be working. So now you see that the iPad Pro now has a pointer device. So on the iPad Pro, we can use this kind of like a mouse here with the Apple Pencil. So definitely this is one area where you can kind of say the argument of a trackpad is not necessarily we need this anymore because you use Apple Pencil like this. Now, in terms of splitting apps, you can definitely split apps here on the iPad. So let's go into App Store, for example, and we could pull this guy over to the side here, bring this guy down, and we can go onto something like Geekbench, for example, and you could see we have split view multitasking here for the iPad. So if you want to get some multitasking done, you could definitely do it here on the iPad, making it for another reason why you might potentially be able to replace your Mac here. So a lot of people will argue, you know, the iPad is just the applications. Oh my God, no, like the iPad just does not do programs the way we want to do programs like we do on our Mac. And that could be true if you don't know how to use the iPad in that way. You have to do a little bit of research, but there's definitely ports and stuff like that. So I've been talking about the iPad for a while in terms of durability and hardware. So on hardware, you're only going to get this guy right here, the lightning port. You're going to get that camera right there from the iPhone 7, and you get speakers. You don't get really anything else. Now, if you do go with a legacy MacBook like a 2013, this 2015, for example, you do get multiple ports here. You get the SD card reader, HDMI out, and this is another reason where an iPad is going to be hard. So if you're trying to buy an iPad to display the iOS onto the screen, you're going to have to do it through AirPlay mirroring. You're not going to be able to do this easily through an HDMI port. Now there is Lightning to HDMI, but it's a little bit of a hassle. It's an extra thing you got to buy for the MacBook Pro, or for the iPad, excuse me. And the iPad or the MacBook has it on there already. But like I say, if you buy a 2016 MacBook, those guys are, how would you say, definitely going to have adapters as well. So let's move on to displays. So on the iPad, the display right here is just incredible. I mean, we're talking about 600 nits of brightness. Now, the newer MacBooks do go up to 500 nits of brightness and do have about 227 pixels per inch. But here on this iPad, we're getting really incredible colors here, incredible crispness. This is like 264 pixels per inch here for this iPad. But yeah, let me go ahead and put that straight. I am not seeing any of your guys' comments. So if you guys are commenting, let me go ahead and see that right quick. Are you guys saying anything? I'm not seeing anything. I don't know if this live stream is working or not, but I haven't seen any comments so far. And I know you guys are talking. I don't know if it's working on my end. So over here, the MacBook Pro definitely has a great display as well. We're talking about a Retina panel. It's a little bit hard to show you this big old MacBook here on camera, but we're talking about a Retina panel here. If I turn this on, you should see, is my MacBook breaking live on camera? Let's see what's going on with this boy. So let me go ahead and turn this on. I think it's on, I'm not sure. Let me see. No, my MacBook's not broken. There it goes, right there. You see the Apple logo right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and log this guy in, and I'm gonna be back in a second. Well, I'm just gonna pull it away. I can't be back in a second. We're live here, but I'm logging into the MacBook and I'm gonna show you the screen quality on there. But the iPad definitely has one of the better screens that I think you can get on any mobile device, making it for a great all-around versatile product for things like reading as well as doing your other stuff. So here's an area where the MacBook Pro definitely has a strong suit too, and that's display. We're talking about displays right here. So if I go like this and I brighten this guy up right here, you can see an incredibly crisp display here on the Retina panel here for the MacBook Pro as well. Now the MacBook Pro is only going to give you, like, I'm going to say this thing's going to give you probably like 220 pixels per inch. So you could definitely see a difference in sharpness. The display on the iPad is sharper than the MacBook. The Retina display, 15 inches though, is just a beauty if you have bad eyes and you want to have, like, this is like a dream computer when it comes to video editing and stuff like that. You can open up iMovie here. And this is an i7. So this is a quad-core i7 PC-based machine. Now, this gives you Launchpad. So on the iPad, you get something similar. Like, so basically mission control here with the MacBook right here. You see these applications right here. These are basically kind of like the iPad in your Mac. So you just go ahead and do the gestures here. You should be able to come right out. And I did open up iMovie to show that example. Now you will get some loading sometimes like this on a MacBook. You never get that on an iPad. So the iPad offers incredible performance. So we talked about displays, we talked about hardware so far. Now, what about software? So macOS over here, iOS over here. iOS 10.3.2, macOS Sierra, High Sierra is coming soon for the MacBook. Now, in terms of software, again, you're going to be able to run desktop class programs on here. The iPad is getting good in the fact that it has really good, powerful applications. I mean, iMovie can do 4K video editing. Over here, if I go into App Store, hit the Mac a little hard there. If I go over into Affinity Photo here, I'm not going to download it. You got to purchase this. It's a $50 app, I believe. But this Affinity Photo app is essentially a great competitor to Photoshop. This guy right here can definitely do Photoshop-based functions here right on your iPad. So you can definitely do some great editing here on the iPad. Now, the only problem with the whole, when they market the fact that the iPad is an incredible camera, you can do 4K, is that, you know, you have to go ahead and shoot with this big old iPad. And taking this thing out is kind of annoying, especially when you could just go out with your iPhone SE, for example, take a shot. You can go out with your, you know, your iPhone 7 Plus, whatever, your small smartphone, and take shots. So definitely a little bit overkill, I think, for the camera, the size of the camera. This is just a big camera here. Now let's talk about battery life. This is one where the iPad just absolutely destroys the Mac. So if you guys want an incredible battery life and you want to replace your MacBook with an iPad, your iPad is going to be a great replacement for the Mac when it comes to battery life. Now, the Mac definitely has some pretty fast charging with MagSafe as well as the USB-C. It doesn't charge super slow, so the MacBook's definitely, guys, definitely giving you some solid battery life on the MacBook. You can go a whole day pretty much, but the iPad can go a whole 2 days if you're light on it. Now, I do want to talk more about longevity. So which of these are going to last you longer into the future? Which are going to go further, faster, longer in your use cases with the MacBook Pro and an iPad? Can you replace it in terms of longevity with updates? So I think the MacBook is going to be updated much longer than an iPad. An iPad is going to be based on hardware limitations. There's super old Macs that still run the latest version of Mac OS. So if you're looking for a long lasting device, the MacBook Pro is going to be the one for you. The iPad Pro, probably going to be a pretty solid, long-lasting device, maybe 5-6 years, but the MacBook could probably go 8 years, honestly. This guy's going to last a really long time in terms of longevity. Now, in terms of design, they're not really that comparable when it comes to design. The MacBook Pro, definitely pretty big, pretty chunky. You can get smaller MacBooks. I know those are a little bit sexier, but overall, can the iPad Pro replace the MacBook Pro? What do you guys think? Do you think the iPad can replace the MacBook Pro? I'm not seeing any comments, so I don't think the live stream is showing me comments. I'm a little bit upset about that, but if you guys can comment when I stop this live stream down below in the comment section your thoughts, because I'm not seeing them live right here for some reason, let me know that. But do you think it can replace the MacBook Pro? I'm telling you right now, if you do light stuff, if you know how to use an iPad with the adapters and things like this, it can definitely replace the MacBook. If you know how to use Wi-Fi printers to print things out, if you need to print documents and stuff like that, it can replace that. You can use this as a pointer device, as basically your mouse if you get the Apple Pencil. The only thing about the iPad is that with all the accessories, the smart keyboard, and all that extra mumbo jumbo that you have to get with the iPad, it becomes almost as pricey as a MacBook Pro. So you really got to weigh your options. But if you want the most portable, powerful machine that can run pretty greatly everything you need for most tasks, I think the iPad is a viable option for you. If you're a professional, if you really need those hardcore applications, there's no further to look than the MacBook Pro. So I would say if you're really serious about video editing, photo editing, you're still going to want to go with a MacBook Pro. Now, if you definitely want a companion device to your MacBook Pro to take this on the road with you and you got to get, like, let's say 80% of your work done, the 10.5-inch iPad should do that right there. And yeah, and finally, that's pretty much it here with this stream. I just want to talk about, can the MacBook replace the iPad Pro? I had a little issue. I'm not seeing the comments here on the screen here. I'm sure you guys are writing, but I'm not seeing it. And you guys can comment down below after the video is over so I can chat with you about this. And thank you for joining the live stream. We will be doing more live streams in the future. I actually just got a camera that does 360 VR live streams, so we're going to be able to do that in the future as well. So comment your thoughts down below. Thank you for joining the stream. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to have a great day and peace.